And welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the Countdown to Kickoff show. It is Dallas week.
Yeah, baby.
And Dallas week at Screwballs. There is no better place to be. Glad to be here. We're going to talk a lot over the next hour here across the JAKIB Sports YouTube channel and lead everybody into the JAKIB pregame show. But, Robbie, first let me get some thoughts from you. Welcome in.
Thanks,
Glad to be here. Good stuff.
What a crowd, man.
Great crowd here tonight,
I mean,
man.
Unbelievable, right? I mean, this is, Joe, you know what I notice is a normal week, we're on the game that just ended, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday-ish. When it's Cowboy week,
done.
The second that game is over, the second that Cardinals game ended, it was Sunday night Cowboys. I mean, it just, the switch is flipped immediately, and you could just feel it. You could feel the juice when you walk around. You could feel that people are at a different level. I mean, add to that the fact that the team's undefeated. Cowboys only have one loss. It's like a perfect storm of everything that's happening right now, and the city is ready, man.
Yeah, I know the city is ready, and the fan base is ready, and even the players, I think, have started to focus in and zero in on Sunday night football against the Cowboys. I do wonder what lessons are learned from that game in Arizona. I think there are a few to take from that game, including narrowly escaping with the win. A win is a win, I get it. Your thoughts on that? There were some ups and downs in that game that might be magnified going into the game this week.
I'll give you two things that are correctable. It's beautiful when you can win a game and still make corrections like that, like you just pointed out. Number one, and this is a basic thing that I think will be corrected in film study, the tackling was terrible. They got to tackle better.
Right.
TJ Edwards is a way better tackler than he showed against the Cardinals, and I think that'll change. That's easy. The other thing I think is very correctable, too, is don't get away from the running game. You saw when they needed to push that button what they ended up doing on that last drive. Yeah, they wanted a touchdown instead of a field goal, but it ended up being the game-winning drive. Don't get away from it early, even if it's not popping early, because the Cowboys are not nearly as good against the run as they are against the pass. That's going to be one of the keys here. Just stay true to it, because Miles Sanders has been really good this year. Keep feeding him. And the offensive line, as good as they are as a complete unit, they're better in the run game than they are in the pass game.
The coach is here, Henry Racich. And, Henry, I'll get your thoughts and your comments about what Rob just laid out for us. But first, welcome in, man. It is Dallas week, and you are by far 5 weeks into the 2022 season. You are by far the newest man on the bandwagon for the Philadelphia Eagles.
You know what? I'll take that one. Listen, I love what this team's doing this year, and just watching the evolution. But back to Rob's point, he is right. The run game establishes rhythm for the offensive line. And once you start taking over the trenches, 3 yards and a pop on the ground, that sets the tone for everything that comes after that. And with the running quarterback you have, sets up all the play action, buys them a little more time because they have to commit the run first. I agree. It should be 2-1 run to pass this week.
And also wears them down. Look, these guys like to tee off in the pass game. One of the ways to offset it, Joe, is just to beat them down. And the run game can beat them down. I think there's a lot of merit and a lot, to me, if I'm the Eagles, there's a lot of different things they can do, and we'll get into it. But that's one of the things I think is going to be a key. It also keeps Dallas's offense, which isn't necessarily great, but it keeps them off the field.
I was listening to Jason Kelsey talking to Angelo on WIP, talking about Micah Parsons.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things Kelsey pointed out is you need to know where he is because he is all over. They move him around. He's everywhere on defense.
He's an account guy, which means you got to know exactly where he is. And for our old school, viewers and streamers here, it reminds me of the way the Giants used to use LT. They'd move him all around. He didn't stay in the same spot all the time. He's athletic enough where he can, beat you in a number of different ways, but he's also strong enough he can put his hand in the dirt. He's a problem. Okay, 6 sacks is not a coincidence. He's a wrecker. He is a home wrecker. But he's not alone. They have a lot of guys who have a knack for getting to the quarterback, but he is first and foremost. Usually it's on the offensive side that you say we got to stop that guy. With the Cowboys, he's the first name that comes to mind on the team.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles really have to neutralize the Cowboy defensive line. That's the star of their show. If you can manage and neutralize that one unit, which, the Cowboys are going against by far the best offensive line that they've seen all year. And for me, I feel like this is like the test, the legitimate test. How legit is this team? They've rolled to 5-0, and they haven't knocked off any top 5 teams, but this is inter-conference. This is their biggest test, I think, of the whole year.
I would agree.
And they have them twice.
Yeah, they have them twice, and the way to offset that, screens, draws, because they're going to be hyper-aggressive getting up the field, Joe. We saw it last week. I thought they utilized Goddard in a great way. Keep that rolling. Keep that rolling, man. You can do some running back. They don't run as many running back screens like they used to with, say, Westbrook or whatever. But I would look to get back to that a little bit with Sanders, even though his hands aren't quite as good as Westbrook. So there's a lot of different ways to offset that. But, yeah, make no mistake, Coach is dead on. I mean, this is the greatest test that this offensive line has had by far this year.
And I mean, with a divisional rival, it's a physical game. I say the Eagles line up and run the ball down their throats, establish the run early. If they get up, Dallas does not have an offense that's going to come back for 14 points.
Yeah.
Not against this defense. So if they impose their will early in the game with the run game, it could be sledding, downhill sledding if they do that.
You look at the offensive side of the ball, it's very sort of pedestrian. Now, the thing is, Cooper Rush does not hurt himself. He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't throw it. He has no interceptions this year. He's managing the game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, some people think that's a bad term. I don't think that's a bad term. He's managing the game for them. They have a decent combo pack running game. Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel's not the same guy that he was.
Pollard could go the distance, though.
But I think he's actually better.
Well, the same question or the same dynamic applies. You want Philadelphia to run the football. You want the Eagles to run the football. Will Dan Quinn and the Dallas defense be able to adjust and stop? Well, the same can be true for
slow. I don't think they're going to stop. They may try to
slow down.
Yeah.
Will Jonathan Gannon be able to scheme up a defense that's going to stop what I would say, when Cooper Rush is the quarterback, a very simple conservative game plan?
So 2 things on that. One, it's a weird anomaly here with the Eagles. They're giving up 5 yards a pop on the ground, which is not good. However, they're not giving up a lot of yards per game. Part of that is the Eagles have been up in games and teams are throwing late, so they're not giving up a ton of yardage in the game. This is where I get back to the tackling. The tackling's got to be better at the point of attack. The defensive line's got to do a better job so it doesn't get to the second and third level. If they're able to do that, they're going to be successful. That's how the Eagles win this game, I think, in large part, if they can run it on the offensive side and just contain Dallas's run game. That's how they win the game. Because you force Rush to throw a ton, I don't think that's his game.
So see how simple that is, what you just said. Contain their run game, and we win. And we run the ball. But on the other side of it, for Dallas, they have to stop so much. They have to stop the pass. They have to stop the run. Our defensive line is phenomenal. I'm saying our.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I love it.
Edit that.
He's completely converted. It's unbelievable.
No.
Turn in your Steelers card.
When we come back out of the bye week, and all of a sudden,
he's going to have an Eagles tattoo.
Now I'm going to be down there
with the Steelers coming into town.
That's right. That's awesome.
I have a Steagles bus going.
That's right.
But to the point is, Dallas has so much to worry about, and the Eagles' game plan is kind of simple. So, it's going to be a great battle down there. The fans are going to go crazy. Got the Phillies playing off the charts. And what a great week for Philly sports.
Are you saying the Eagles' offensive plan is simple or the Cowboys' plan is simple?
I think the Cowboys have a lot more to scheme against us.
To stop the Eagles.
Than we do them.
Yeah.
Because we're a two-headed monster. We have the pass game, the run game. The Cowboys basically are a run team with those two backs. They're not a big passing threat, and we have that all locked down. The secondary's playing great, too.
It is. I'll tell you this. The other thing to watch, A.J. Brown, for whatever reason, it just kind of went bye-bye for 2.5 quarters against the Cardinals. He's going to come out with a vengeance in this game.
I heard Nick Sirianni was asked about that in the press conference the day after, and coming up on the other side of the break, NFL insider John McMullen, our very own Johnny Mac, John McMullen will join us. We can ask him about that. Nick didn't seem to put any value on it other that he just wasn't in the offense that particular game.
I look at it much like Devontae Smith not doing anything in the Detroit game. Like, it's not a warning signal or a concern or anything like that.
Not purposeful either.
No.
He'll get his.
I just think a competitive guy like that, especially on Sunday night against the Cowboys.
National TV.
In an Eagles jersey now.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me, he's going to set a tone. If I was a betting man, I'd look at an over-under in terms of reception and yards for A.J. Brown.
Really good stuff here. It's Dallas week. This is the countdown to kickoff show from our favorite spot.
Great crowd.
We love being here out at Screwballs. Great crowd here tonight. It will only continue to build as the season goes on. As we go into our first commercial break, don't forget, coming up, Johnny Mack on the other side. Imagine what it would be like to be 6-0 going into the bye week. Back in a moment.
Yes.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown's 5-day used car super sale. Jeff puts an end to high prices now. 5 days of the best car, truck, and SUV deals ever. Over 1,000 vehicles, every make and model. Stop overpaying. See Jeff today and get a quality car, truck, or SUV now. The 5-day used car super sale. Experience how easy it is to deal at Jeff's. Nobody treats you better. Nobody gives you more. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. GoJeffAuto.com.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Welcome to Pondley Hockey. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pondley Hockey a call.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
Over the last 17 years, we've built a reputation of growing award-winning teams across the country. Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
And back here on the Countdown to Kickoff show as we lead
sir,
you.
yes, sir.
It is Dallas week, and we are thrilled to
Dallas
be out
sucks.
at our favorite spot, Screwballs, along with Rob Ellis and the coach. We're going to bring in NFL insider John McMullen, who made a long journey in the 2021 season. From his home in South Jersey out to Screwballs, and also Rob had a great time when Johnny Mac was out here. He loved it here as well.
We need John's picture up
yes,
here on
we
the
do.
wall. We got to make
do.
that happen.
Johnny Mac, welcome in, brother. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on, Johnny Mac.
All right, John, I'll start with this one because it's been driving me nuts all week, and I don't know where you stand on this, but the whole notion of Jalen Hurts has only thrown 4 touchdown passes, and people seem to ignore the fact that he's gotten the ball in with his legs 6 times. That seems to be a big concern for some. I don't care how the heck you matriculate the ball into the end zone, but where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I'm getting that too, Rob. I get a lot of people that say the passing touchdowns aren't there. This is the number 2 ranked offense in the NFL, right? Everything is contextual. There's 32 teams. That means there's one better than the Eagles offensively. There's nobody better than the Eagles when it comes to record. They're the only unbeaten team. They have the second-ranked offense. Yeah, they score often in an unconventional fashion, but they score. So who cares?
Yeah, it's the ultimate nitpick.
I think, yes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, but I think a rushing touchdown is 6 points, passing touchdown is 6 points.
I don't need to get the rule book out. I think you're dead on that one. It's one of those classic, the Eagles are 5-0, let me find something to complain about.
Yeah, well, that's easy, too. Go to special teams. Don't worry about the second-ranked offense, 4th-ranked defense, and we got, with the defense, you got to blitz, you got to blitz, you got to blitz. With the offense, if you run it in, you got to pass it in. I imagine if you got to pass it in, they'll start complaining about the rushing attack. Bottom line is they're effective, and that is, and to Nick Sirianni's credit, I think that's been the best thing. When you talk about him as the head coach, he it's a cliche to other people, and they say, we'll do what we need to do to win a football game. He's proven he will do what he needs to do to win a particular football game. If he's got to throw it, he'll throw it. If he's got to run it, he'll run it by hook or by crook, and I like that.
Johnny Mac joining us here on the Countdown to Kickoff show. Johnny Mac, what do you think of the Dallas Cowboys? They're coming in with a lot of hype themselves, brother.
Well, they always have a lot of hype. It's the Dallas Cowboys. There's certain teams, the Yankees in baseball, when the Celtics are good in basketball, they probably get a little bit more hype than they deserve. That's the Cowboys. I mean, you do have to give them credit. There's not many teams that can lose a starting quarterback the caliber of Dak Prescott and win 4 games with Cooper Rush playing quarterback. So they have talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They've had the best pass rush in the NFL. Micah Parsons is a phenomenal player. Trayvon Diggs has been an Eagles killer early in his career. They have good players, especially on that side. So I think this will be the best defense the Eagles have faced. And we'll see if they can deal with Micah Parsons, because he's tough to deal with.
All right, let me follow up on Diggs for a second, John, because we saw him kind of burst on the scene. He is a home run threat. He can pick it and take it to the house. He's going to get a lot of interceptions. He also gets burned a lot, John. Is that a guy, how do you attack him? And if you're the Eagles, are you steering away from him or are you going after him?
Well, you got to be very careful. You're right. I mean, when you make as many big plays as he does, you have to take chances. But, you mentioned the pick sixes. You got Jalen last year, 59 yards in Arlington, in North Texas. So he got a pick 6. He had a 2 interception game against the Eagles with 4 passes defense.
Yep.
And he had 3 more defense in the game he had the pick 6. He has dominated this particular team. The one thing I'm most impressed with Jalen Hurts is we just talked about. Think about it, Rob, what you said defensively. You're exactly correct. Diggs makes a lot of big plays, but he takes chances. The Eagles, they haven't turned the football over, and they generate explosive plays. That's what they have to continue. That formula, if that formula continues, they're going to be the best team in the NFL. Generally, when you get a lot of explosive plays, you have to take chances. The Eagles have taken care of the football. That's been impressive.
Johnny Mac, let me ask you about this Eagles offense. Is there, and I don't even know what the point totals are anymore, after last week's game, but I know going into the game last week, all the talk was about the Eagles being a second quarter team, scoring a boatload of points in the first half, and then somehow not doing, or somehow definitely not scoring anywhere close to the number in the second half, yet still getting the W. Do you see a reason why that is, Johnny Mac?
No, I think, Jim Schwartz, I always say, because I agree with him, and he gains that personality. So if you look at each individual game, week one they got tested. They had the great 4-minute offense to drain the clock in the fourth quarter. All right, maybe they didn't score. They didn't have to score because they didn't give the football back to Detroit. They ran out the clock. That's exactly what you want to do with a 4-minute offense. They weren't challenged against Minnesota. They weren't challenged against Washington when they did dominate in the second quarter. And there's sort of a human nature, lack of a sense of urgency. Certainly against Minnesota, they took the foot off the gas. They threw some deep shots against Washington. But again, there's no sense of urgency. You got the feeling that if they were threatened, they would just turn the switch on and dominate those two particular teams. In Jacksonville, you had the weather game. Again, mainly domination, especially with the running game, 200 yards. And then they got challenged in Arizona. And they went on that. They almost had the first recorded 9-minute offense. They weren't able to finish it, but they took 8 minutes off the clock. They made Arizona take all 3 of their timeouts. Now, one, they got help by an injury on one, but nonetheless, and all of a sudden they have no timeouts. They got to drive down the field with a backup kicker. Kyler Murray makes a mistake. When they get challenged, they respond. They responded in Detroit. They responded in Arizona. So I think people have to recognize that.
John, every Super Bowl team or every great team has an identity. Whether it be the offense, the defense, this team seems to be so well balanced. In your mind, what's the identity of this team? Is it the defense? Is the defense better than the offense? Or is it the offense? When you think Eagles football right now, what is the blue ribbon?
I think you can make an argument for both, and that's a good thing. As I said, number 2 in offense, number 4 in defense. So it's very rarely you have top 5 groups on both sides of the football. We'll see. I mean, right now, I think and I've said it quite a bit. It's not a run first offense. It's not a pass first offense. It's a Jalen Hurts first offense. So right now, he's the identity of this team and the uniqueness of him as a player in his ability to. If you're going to make him throw it like Minnesota did, he threw it. If you're going to make him run it like Detroit did, he did it. And it really is based on what the opposition is doing to him. And right now they've been able to counter every punch. So if you force me to pick a side, I would say offense, and I'd say it's a Jalen Hurts first team. But the defense is very good as well, and they're just getting better. The more comfortable Jordan Davis, I've said this since the spring, he's going to make a big impact on this team because he's going to turn 1st and 10 in the 2nd and long. And once you get to 3rd and long, then you can unleash Hassan Reddick in the pass rush, and the Eagles are getting better and better at that.
Hey, John, let me stay on that because Reddick was the one guy who got home last week, but the pass rush wasn't necessarily there in terms of sacks, maybe some pressures and whatnot. Have they been a little inconsistent for you, or are they kind of right where you want them to be?
No, they I think it's different. I think, when you're facing Kyler Murray, that's the first sort of, they got a taste of their own medicine, what opposition has to deal with Jalen Hurts. You have to be very disciplined on the pass rush. Otherwise, they can gouge you running football. And even if you are disciplined, you've seen it with Jalen Hurts. Yeah. They're going to make 2 or 3 big plays. You saw it with Kyler Murray. Had a number of those quarterback draws that were very effective. You can't just unleash against a quarterback like that. You can do that against a Cooper Rush. So it changes your sort of rush philosophy. They went into that Arizona game understanding they had to be really, really, really disciplined. And that makes it harder to just rush the pass.
NFL insider John McMullen joining us here on the Countdown to Kickoff show. Of course, you'll see Johnny Mack on the pregame show. You'll see him at halftime on Sunday night from the link. And then, of course, on the Pond Hockey postgame show with all of the locker room reaction. And then, of course, on Monday morning on Birds 365.
Nice turnaround there, baby.
And then, of course, you can read Johnny Mack on JAKIBSports.com. Absolutely. John McMullen. Well done, sir. Appreciate it, John.
Good job, John.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Good stuff from Johnny Mack. Guy's a workhorse, man. He's working. I wanted to ask him, Rob, I'll ask you, the kryptonite for Jalen Hurts. What is Dan Quinn? How is he preparing for Jalen Hurts and this offense?
Well, I think he's going to keep getting blitzed. I think that if you watch what Detroit did, if you watch what Arizona did to an extent, I think the blitz is still something that he's got to prove that he can counter. Like, if you look at his numbers in the pocket, some of this stuff is like, Pro Football Focus, you could throw it out the window sometimes. But I think he's second in the league inside the pocket, and he's in the bottom 5 when he's blitzed. Now, you could apply that to a bunch of quarterbacks, but it's still an area that he's got to show he can pick up a blitz and hit a hot receiver. I think that's one area where he's not necessarily taking off a little bit too quickly, and I'd rather see him try to buy a little bit of time for himself. This is also where being relatively healthy, which it looks like the Eagles are going to be, the offensive line, guys coming back, is huge. I mean, you were down to your 3rd-string left tackle. You lost Kelsey at one point. You lost Landon Dickerson at one point. Like, that shouldn't be discounted. That's a big deal. And that's one of the reasons why I think they strayed a little bit from the running game last week, because they were worried about the interior. But that's what I would say, to answer your question, Joe, in a long, roundabout way, I think just being able to counter a blitz would be his kryptonite.
I mean, I would like to see the stats on making him roll left.
Yes.
Versus his percentages rolling right, because in my mind as a defensive coordinator, obviously a right-handed quarterback, you want to force him to roll to the left side. Other than that, it's put a spy on him. I mean, there's only so many things.
That's
you can
good.
Game plan.
Then Goddard is singled. Then A.J. Brown singled. And Devontae could be singled if you have the spy. But he did have Coach, he did a really good throw last week, I thought, when he rolled to his left and still connected with the receiver. A little scary because whenever you throw over the middle like that, you're like, oh, good throw.
Especially going left.
But he doesn't seem to be as hesitant to do it this year as he was last year. And that's almost all he did last year was roll right and throw every single time.
All right, good stuff there in segment 2. Thanks again, NFL insider Johnny Mack, working down at practice, working the game, and then working across the JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. We'll get to a commercial break. We'll continue the conversation. We're live at Screwballs. It is...
Make some noise!
Back in a moment.
At Pond Hockey, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Up and go Birds.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, Birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown's 5-day used car super sale. Jeff puts an end to high prices now. 5 days of the best car, truck, and SUV deals ever. Over 1,000 vehicles, every make and model. Stop overpaying. See Jeff today and get a quality car, truck, or SUV now. The 5-day used car super sale. Experience how easy it is to deal at Jeff's. Nobody treats you better. Nobody gives you more. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. GoJeffAuto.com.
It is Dallas week. All right, prime time at the Link. Wow, that place will be. Every time you say the place is going to be electric and buzzing from the previous game, oh, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
This is
game,
a different level.
This is a different level.
Yeah,
there's hate in the air.
Yeah, there's no false hype with this one. You don't have to create anything. You don't have to make up some chip on your shoulder. You know what it is. And the Cowboys beat them down last year.
Hey,
let's face it. I mean, I know the one game didn't mean anything, but the game that meant something, the Cowboys put it on them, okay? So if you're not motivated as an Eagles player after what went down last year, think about this, guys. If you're the Eagles, and I'll play both sides of the fence. Let's say you win this game. You're 6-0 going into a bye. You get time to recuperate, rest, relax, recharge. You can just chill. You're feeling really good about yourself. You're 6-0.
Because you know you don't have to worry about the Steelers.
We'll get into that. You lose it, all of a sudden, all the doubt creeps in. That you know what? Despite how good we've been, the Cowboys have our number. And you gotta wear it for a week, 2 weeks actually.
2 weeks,
with this fan base who will lose their minds if you lose to the Cowboys. And a lot of the goodwill that you build up through 5 weeks, whether it's fair or not, goes out the window. That's why this game is gigantic, even as early in the season as it is.
Well, this is going to sound crazy. See, I've had some teams that have been on these long runs and have gone undefeated. And if you're going to lose a game, you don't want it to be Dallas, but if you're going to lose one, you want to lose one in the regular season, make adjustments to it. You don't want to do it in the playoffs, obviously, but it's just being undefeated is another pressure altogether because that's all anybody talks about.
Yeah.
You know?
They're going to lose. Just don't make it be this game.
Yeah, just don't make it
be. They will lose.
I mean, with everything going on in Philly this week, with the Phillies, this town is like,
oh, man.
They are
Rob, is it official in terms of who will start at quarterback for the Cowboys?
I don't think this is a mind game. I truly believe that Prescott's not there yet. I think there's two things, Joe. I mentioned this to you guys in passing last week. If I'm the Cowboys, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you can sell it to Dak saying, hey, we're protecting you against yourself. We don't want you out there compromised with that bad thumb. Only bad things are going to happen. Give yourself some time. We're winning right now, but you're going to be our guy eventually. That's what you tell him. You're behind closed doors. You're saying, man, we're winning with Cooper Rush. There is no reason to not keep this train moving this way.
Don't upset the apple cart.
Exactly.
There's a rhythm. You know, whether this guy, I mean, is there going to be a controversy? If he comes in and beats the Eagles, I mean, there's a controversy. There's got to be something creeping up here. But
but that's a good problem if you're the Cowboys. Right? So, Joe, I think they're not going to McCarthy said as much. We're preparing like it's Cooper Rush. I don't think they're going to say anything officially because you want the Eagles to split time. Not split. I mean, there's a lot more Cooper Rush, but they're going to be preparing both ways. Put it to you that way. So I think it will absolutely be Cooper Rush.
Well, with Cooper Rush in the pocket, the Eagles know there's a point the Rush gets to that point.
Yes.
With Dak, I mean, pin your ears back, get to that point. That's Rush.
Yep.
With Dak in there, he has mobility. You know, maybe we see him. Maybe Rush gets banged up a little bit in the first half, and they bring Dak in for his athleticism because somebody's going to need it. And if that pocket starts breaking down, Rush isn't going to get out of the way of anything.
I'll tell you another thing. They got lucky with Cooper Rush. They cut him several times. They thought Will Greer was going to be their guy. I mean, this is a situation they had. You remember Ben DiNucci and some of the other guys they rolled out the last couple of years. They didn't know what Cooper Rush was, and Cooper Rush, I think, surprised them. He had a really good final preseason game, which, got him to the second spot there. And to his credit, he's taken advantage of this. He's done a great job. But Dallas knows what the formula is. Lean on the defense, utilize the run game, make a couple plays here and there offensively. They're not asking him to do too much. They're smart. You know what you see sometimes in the NFL, whether it's rookies or backups, and at the end of the game, you say, this guy had 42 passing attempts? What the hell are they doing? The Cowboys aren't doing that. They're playing it very smart. I know Eagles fans don't want to hear this. They have really good coordinators. Kellen Moore is a good offensive coordinator.
Good coordinator.
Dan Quinn.
I'm a Dan Quinn fan.
Excellent defensive coordinator. They were really smart in the coaches they brought in, the assistant coaches they brought in.
I mean, they're a ground team. I mean, and we're going to see a healthy dose of that from the Cowboys, which will run the clock down, which they want to keep the game close. They want to keep it a low-scoring game. They don't want to get in a shootout. They don't have a shootout offense. So they're trying to keep, 28-14. They want to keep it within 6-7 points at all times.
Yeah, if this is a field goal game going into the fourth, the Cowboys are thrilled. That's exactly the kind of game they want this to be. Low-scoring, kind of ugly, muck it up a little bit, and force the Eagles into some turnovers.
Dicker the kicker.
Make
it another opportunity.
By the way, I mean, five straight weeks they've gotten Player of the Week, and they got Player of the Month once as well. How does Dicker the kicker get special teams player of the week? It's incredible.
It's a great story. I was listening again in the morning. I'm listening to him do an interview.
Yeah.
And he's referencing the only football game that he watched.
He wasn't a football fan growing up. Yeah.
I believe it was the Steelers and the Rams, and he said he was in Canada on a ski trip or something like
Super
that.
Bowl?
The Super Bowl.
Wow.
It's the only game that he ever watched football-wise.
He comes off the field Sunday, right? And Howard Eskin had him and interviewed him. And he says he's talking to him like, he asked him, do you even realize the Eagles are undefeated? I'm not sure he even knew. This guy's out there, man. and the only reference he made was Texas and Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry. He kicked for Texas. This guy is just different. He's a typical kicker. They are on a different wavelength.
Yeah, he blocks everything out, too.
Yeah, which is good. I don't think he's sitting here nervous. You know what I mean? I think he's a guy who's just kind of whatever, and it could be a one-off, like a one-week wonder if Elliott comes back. And it looks
he's like
will.
folklore now, Dicker the Kicker. I mean,
exactly right.
That's forever.
T-shirts.
Yeah, he loves it. By the way, he loves that name.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah, I think he earned himself probably a roster spot somewhere else. Because if I'm Arizona, rather than the kid who blew the kick,
Amendola, yeah,
I'm looking at Dicker.
Is Amendola from here?
He's a Pennsylvania kid.
Yeah.
He's a
So
Pennsylvania kid.
he kicked the same way pregame for that game winner,
Wide right.
exactly the same.
Yeah, you're right.
No adjustment at all.
Yep, amazing.
Nuts.
But it's just these are the kind of things that along the way you go back and you remember. Like if the Eagles have a really successful season, we're going to say, man, do you remember that back in Week 5? Dicker the Kicker? Like, remember that guy? Like it's part of the journey here.
I wonder, as we get ready for this Eagles-Cowboys game, I wonder, is this game a defensive struggle? Is that even a possibility based on what the Eagle offense has done and also based on what the Cowboy offense was done? They put up a lot of points last week against the Super Bowl champs.
They did, Joe, but they also didn't give many up. I think this is two good defensive teams. If you're asking me, I'm leaning towards a lower score than a higher score. I think it's more of a defensive struggle.
You're going to see some smash. It's going to be fanciness. It's not going to be 40-some passes. No team's going to do that.
Well, what's the ratio? What is it, pass and run?
I think it's two. I think Eagles to win go 2-1.
2-1 run?
2-1 run.
Whoa.
I think they run the ball more than they pass against Dallas.
I think it's 50-50-ish. I think it's in that neighborhood. I believe they stay with it this week. I don't think it's going to be like last week. So I think they are going to run the ball a lot. And I think the Cowboys are going in knowing that the Eagles are giving up a lot of ground per carry. So I think the Cowboys are going to try and punch the Eagles in the mouth too. As much as we think the Eagles are going to do that, I think Dallas does the same thing early.
The total number of plays for an offense in the course of a 4-quarter game, on average, is what? 85 plays?
Yeah, it's like 80.
Is it that many or no?
I would say it's probably in the 70s.
So if you
60s,
say,
70s.
Henry, or Coach, 2-1, and you use 70...
I mean, maybe even less. Yeah,
is it less?
I would say around there, 60s.
Whatever the number is. Whatever the number is. 2-1 on that. Are you saying 45 rushing attempts from the Eagles are going to run the football that often? I don't think so, right?
Well, 42-1 would be 90 plays, right?
No, that's too much. 42 is too much.
I would say 25
to 30.
Right.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
25 to 30. I mean, how many rushes did Sanders have? He had 27 rushes, didn't he? To get that 140 yards a week. The week before,
not last week.
Rushes.
Yeah, the rain game.
So he had almost 30 himself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, besides Hurts's gives you 60 yards on the ground.
Yeah, Hurts is going to give you 10-ish. It depends. I mean, week 1 I think it was 17, whatever. I mean, you figure Hurts gives you 10. You're in the 22 range maybe for Sanders. So right there is 32. Okay. I'm hoping that the number isn't 35 in terms of pass attempts. So I'm hoping it's around a 30-30 mix, somewhere around there.
By the way, if Hurts is contained and he can't get right and he can't get left, and he's contained in
middle portion of the field.
Middle portion of the field, is that the kryptonite that forces him to throw the football?
I don't think this year. Last year may have been a question of contain him in the pocket and make him throw. He didn't have any weapons. He doesn't have the weapons he has this year.
Yeah.
This year, I don't think that's as much as the case. I mean, he's been a much more
but when you're rolling, when you're on the move, that's when receivers are getting open.
Yeah, the more time you can buy, the harder it is for a defensive back, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I don't, Joe, I don't know. I wouldn't describe it as kryptonite because he's also very good at kind of climbing and then getting himself out of trouble too. He's so elusive, man. Like he's not quite Lamar Jackson, but he's not that far off.
He doesn't stay in the pocket. He's not a pocket guy. He doesn't stay. He's not conditioned in his mind to stay in the pocket.
Yeah.
So what he does do better this year is last year he'd see a flash of a jersey and be gone. This year he is climbing up, coming through the levels and trying to dump balls off or just taking off then.
Yeah.
But I don't know what this kid's kryptonite is. I mean, as a defensive guy, I'm thinking make him go. He's probably less accurate rolling left. Every quarterback's less accurate rolling to the right side.
Yep.
I mean, other than that, like Michael Vick, how did you contain him? you had all these game plans. They spied him.
Yeah.
They made him roll right.
Right.
He never contained him. He breaks contained. So that's why this kid's a nightmare. He is a nightmare.
Yeah, and the one thing that offsets could potentially, not does, but maybe could, is this is a different kind of athlete in Parsons. It's a different guy. They haven't faced somebody like this. So he can get you from a lot of different angles, and he's not as fast, but he's comparable speed-wise. How many times have you seen Jalen and the guy's breathing down his neck, and he's fast enough just to get away and get you 7 yards?
Yeah.
Parsons is the type that maybe chase you down from behind.
Yeah.
And he's got to be careful with the ball. This is going to be a game where you got to have that peripheral vision and have eyes in the back of your head, because this dude is always on the hunt, always.
Good stuff. Go ahead, Henry.
Well, the one thing that sticks out to me is Dallas, the team that will give this team problems is somebody that can match up and run man.
Yep.
Against 3 really good receivers. Does that team exist?
We haven't seen it yet.
In the NFL.
The Eagles can do it, but I haven't seen it yet against the Eagles.
Correct. Yeah, the Eagles defense has that. That's why when I was talking to John about it, I'm thinking, which unit is a Super Bowl unit here? Like a standout unit above the league.
Yep.
And the only team that will give them problems is somebody that can man these receivers up. Lock these 3 guys down and spy Hurts, and then that levels the playing field right
100%.
there.
Yep.
But I don't know if that defense exists.
I
Is it
I was just
Buffalo?
going to say, I don't even know if that defense exists.
Yeah.
You'd have to go back to the 85 Bears and the curtain. I had to throw them in.
Let's hope so. Steel curtain? You got the steel curtain in there?
I had to throw them
Me,
in.
Joe Green ain't walking through those doors anytime soon, man. I hope not, at least.
Countdown to Kickoff show live from Screwballs. Man, it's Dallas week, and we're glad to be here. Good stuff, great stuff from Johnny Mack checking in with us, along with Rob, Ellis, and the coach. I'm Joe Kraus. We'll take our final commercial break on the JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. Back in a moment.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Celebrating the life of your loved one is what we do at Life Celebrations by Givnish. When the matriarch of the Dalloway family died suddenly at 82 years old, Life Celebrations by Givnish stepped in.
They will make this the easiest thing that I know it's not easy, but they will make this as easy as possible.
Life Celebrations by Givnish, customizing services as unique as the individual.
I just know that my dad, who is in charge of everything, was not in charge of anything at that point when my mom passed. And again, just another shout out to this place for making it easy.
Turning tragedy into a celebration of life, no matter how hard, is what we do at Life Celebrations by Givnish. Life Celebrations by Givnish, customizing services as unique as the individual.
The faces you know, the team you trust. The Delaware Valley's leading news program, Action News.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
All right, clap, 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 clap. Let's go. Let's go. We're back.
All right.
Oh, he's going to get it started.
Welcome back to
you woke up, Ted.
Countdown to Kickoff show. What's going on here, man? What's happening? Good
it's
crowd.
The beauty of
great
being
night.
live, baby.
No, man, I love it. Great crowd. Glad to be at Screwballs in King of Prussia. If you're watching us on the JAKIB YouTube channel, get out to Screwballs on Thursday night.
6 o'clock.
Every week,
Yes.
every Thursday. Rob, you're 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and no,
You
you're
can't stop this.
Yeah,
can't
you
stop
love it, right?
Eagles
stop
haven't
it.
lost since he came on the show here.
We're undefeated with me here, so this is it.
This is it.
This is it.
This is your Thursday night.
Nothing stopping this train, Joe.
I love it.
This is an express. Right to the Super Bowl. Right to Arizona. It's an express
Back to
Arizona.
Glendale. Henry, you're
There's
driving
a
the
lot of
bus.
Super Bowl talk. Like, these Eagles fans are going crazy, talking a lot of, like, you know, they're running away with this thing. I mean,
I don't know about running away, but they have every reason to be excited. I will say that. I mean, with the way that there's the lone team standing, man. I mean, they should feel good about what's happening.
Although the NFC East, all of a sudden,
way better than we thought.
what happened? How did that happen?
better.
Okay, so I know it's only 5 games. Dable deserves some kind of medal for what he's doing with the Giants.
Yeah.
I don't know how the heck
Yeah,
they're
that's
doing
amazing
this,
what
man.
he's doing. He doesn't have a whole boatload of talent either. You know,
I mean,
around
on the offensive side, you have nobody to worry about with Saquon Barkley. That's it. It's
well, and,
amazing.
and Saquon's lighting it up.
Oh, he's.
Yeah.
I said this on the show on Sports Take this week. Most people just say about Saquon, comeback player of the year, which is right. I'm saying he should be in every MVP conversation with the way that he's playing in terms of running the ball, catching the ball, carrying an offense that the defense every single week is basically game planning for him and not afraid of anybody else and still doing it week in and
When's the
week
last
out.
time there's been a running back?
It feels like it's been a
MVP.
while.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been a while.
I mean, let me say this. That's a big win
Over Green Bay.
over Green Bay in London.
Agreed.
I mean, not
I love those
expected,
games, by the way.
not anticipated.
Right.
I mean, that's a big win. That's a good win for him.
Yeah, like I do eventually feel like they're going to level out a little bit, but to have them where they are right now with the lack of talent, I'll tell you what was the key. When they were playing that first week and they beat Tennessee and Dable went for 2, and he went over to his defensive players and said, look, I'm thinking about doing this. You guys cool with this? And they're all like, yeah, do it. And I think right there he had them, and they buy it. You could tell these guys are in with him. So I think that's something else to watch as we go forward.
And the bus is going up there this year, right?
The bus is going up from
that game's
Screwball.
going to have more
baby.
significance than we ever thought. At the beginning of the season, the trip to New York, we were thinking, they're going to
Well,
be
we'll
tanking.
see. I mean, we still got the backside of we got the other side of the bye week.
Yep.
And then you've got really the stretch from Thanksgiving to the end. Now, that game, I think, in New York is the second week of December, I think.
Yeah, it feels like it's a while.
It's in December.
Yeah.
So those are the next two. If you compartmentalize the season, we've got the first 6. We're either going to be 5-1 or 6-0. Then your next stretch of games, and then your finale, and then your final push on the other side. Now, I don't know where if the loss doesn't come against the Cowboys, I'm not quite sure where it will come.
Yeah, because their schedule is not
No.
a
It's not
really
a killer.
tough schedule
But
at all.
there's always a blip. There's always a letdown. I mean, there's a reason why I know that New England did it and then they lost in the Super Bowl. But
Trap games
It's
and
such
stuff.
rare air what the Patriots did, what the Dolphins did, 50 years ago. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So I'm not banking on that by any stretch. Look, the East is interesting because I think the Giants have slid into the role that we thought Washington was going to be okay. Okay. And I think it's eventually what the median is with the Giants. And I think Washington stinks. I think they're going to play the role of what we thought the Giants were going to be.
Right, they flip-flop.
Yeah, but I think it's a two-horse race ultimately later in the season.
Let's get final thoughts from both the coach and from Rob Ellis before we check out on the countdown to kickoff. We talked a little bit tonight in that opening segment, Rob, and you referenced it. There's no false hype around this game. Everybody knows that. That's an obvious statement to make, but it still will be the biggest game that this team has played to date this season.
Hands down. I mean, hands down. Not only is it just because of the history with the Cowboys, they're 4-1 and they're right on your tail.
Yeah.
In the division and in the conference. Like, you get this. It's a huge division win. It's a huge conference win. And I also just think psyche-wise, not that the Eagles aren't confident. Of course they are. But if you can win this and beat them, the team that handed it to you last year, I just think they go into the bye feeling so good about themselves.
Do the Eagles win this game because offensively they take it to the Cowboys? Or do they win it from the defensive side of the football?
I'm going to say offensively they take it to the Cowboys. I think that's how they win this game. I think the Eagles' defense will hold up. I think this is where Jalen Hurts shows everybody he can beat a playoff team, and not that the Cardinals were a playoff team, but a team that most people think is going to be a pretty deep contender this year. I think that's where Jalen. It's a little bit of a proving ground game for him to an extent.
Well, it wasn't long ago Dallas was a little shaky coming out of the gates, but I feel like it's going to be a physical game. I feel like this is an Eagles Super Bowl type atmosphere on a Monday night, prime time, across the country, and I feel like the Eagles are going to impose their will on the ground and set the tone for the next time they play the Dallas Cowboys. If you beat this team up, Dallas comes in here and you beat them up, you rough them up on the ground, that stays with you a long time as a team. When the team gets dominated, when the defense gets dominated on the ground, that is like a PTSD moment. That will stay with this Cowboy team. The run will open up everything this week for the Eagles. I like them up 24-17. Not a crazy 30-some point game.
No, this will be a game.
It'll be a great game. I think it's gonna be a great game.
I think too, Joe, to your point that you guys made earlier about the schedule not being super tough, right? So when you get opportunities against teams like this that are good teams, you need to win these kind of games. If you want to believe in yourself enough once you get the playoff time, I think this game goes a really long way. And not to mention, you're going to get Dallas again on the back. I'm talking Christmas Eve. We're way off, right? But my point is, it's the third of a back-to-back-to-back. That's a really difficult circumstance. That game's going to be tough. I don't care what is happening record-wise with either team. This is the one you need to get.
The only thing that makes this game better is Dak was starting. Then you have a full strength. No excuse.
Yeah.
If they lose this guy, well, they beat Cooper Rush. He's our backup. If he's healthy, and that's the only thing I think would make it a little more exciting.
Yeah.
That the starter was in, but nonetheless, you're going to see two stud offensive lines that are good running the ball go at it. That's an entertaining football game.
Henry's right, but here's the thing: this Cowboys team has won 4 in a row with this guy who's quarterbacking.
Yeah.
So. Take care of your team.
Merle Reese was on the Seth Joyner show this week, and Merle said, hey, if they lose the game for whatever reason, it's okay. Relax. Now, I know that is hard to agree with.
Yeah.
But Merle's point was, this is game 6. I know it's Dallas.
It's not.
It's not.
Nobody's saying that's okay.
Yeah.
Not in this town. Not against Dallas.
Merrill's
it's never
looking at it very practically and rationally. we're irrational. We're not practical.
Eagles fans are not rational.
Yeah, that's the last thing we are. And
it's never
good
okay
luck
to
telling an
lose to
Eagles fan
Dallas.
that. I know, Joe. Like I hear you. Like they 5 straight, 5-0. You're not going to go undefeated. This is not the one you want to lose. It's not the one.
I mean, let's face facts. If the Eagles stunk and the Dallas Cowboys were incredible, Philadelphia would still expect the Eagles to beat up.
Amen.
On Dallas. Yeah,
exactly right.
All right, let's get picks and predictions. I guess I already know your pick, but let's get that before we say goodbye here on the Countdown to Kickoff show. By the way, don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget, when the game concludes, tune right in to the Pond Hockey post-game show on 6abc.com and, of course, on the JAKIB YouTube channel. We'll be live from down at Ocean Casino Resort. Mike Missinelli, Devin Caney, Derek Gunn, and Seth Joyner. We promise that Seth will say something to fire you up, and we promise that he's not afraid to bark back at JAKIB when we say something that we're not supposed to say.
Don't cross Seth.
Don't cross Seth. Even if he's sitting on your own set, don't cross him. There he is.
Why's he got to be looking over my shoulder?
I'm afraid even
over your shoulder, brother.
Even in this capacity, I'm afraid of him.
Picks, predictions. Henry, start with you tonight.
I'm going to go 24-17, the Birds, and I'm going to say they get over 200 yards rushing.
Wow. Okay.
I'll throw that in the mix.
21-20 Eagles.
Ooh, nail biter. Dicker the kicker.
No, Dicker the kicker's not a factor
just
in
make
this
your
game.
extra points. Just make your.
That's what I mean. He's making extra points.
The Eagles will get a late one and seal it, and the defense will get a pick to end the game. It'll be a play that just says, all right, then they kneel on the ball. But the Eagles score on their last drive.
His first pick is going to. It's his first. If he throws a pick, it's the first time.
I know. They turn him over for the first time.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. This will end with the Eagles driving down the field, scoring. Dallas gets the ball back. Eagles get an interception and ice it. 21-20. It's gonna be sweat time, but they win.
Mike, that was going to be my question. Eagles trail late in the fourth.
Yes.
They get possession of the football. You think they move down the field and
Goddard touchdown.
How are they trailing? I cannot see the Dallas offense generating that many points for them.
Well,
to be
if it's low scoring and like you're both predicting or you're both expecting it to be, then that scenario is more realistic than not.
Nah, you're right. It could come, I mean, especially if it's a ground attack type game. The game's going to go faster.
Look, I'd love for this to be 42-10, and our feet are up at the end of the game.
Now, I
hope
want them to be tested. I want to see this team.
I think this is going to be a test.
Because let's face facts. Last week, if Murray slides another 2 yards forward, that could be a 7 outcome
it's overtime
altogether.
At least.
And doesn't spike it. Like, he totally had
did.
a brain fart. So I want to see them tested. Like, really, the 14-0 deficit. Great character comeback, great poise.
Yep.
I want to see them. I just want to see them slug it out. I want to see a 3 yards in a cloud of dust coming.
Real quick, Rob, before we say goodbye, what are your colleagues on Sports Take expecting? What's Gunner expecting from Sunday, and what's Barrett Brooks expecting?
I'll start with Barrett. Barrett thinks this is going to be easy.
Easy, okay.
He doesn't buy into the Cowboys at all.
Wow.
Okay, I believe in the Cowboys.
Rams win, huh?
I believe in the Cowboys a lot more than Barrett does. Barrett doesn't think they're good. He thinks the Eagles win this thing pretty handily. Okay, so Barrett is on the complete opposite than what most people are on. Gunner, I think, likes the Eagles in a tight one, but I was really surprised at Barrett this week. He said, pouring over the film, I'm not buying it. I think the Eagles will handle it.
Interesting.
Yeah, really interesting.
I think Devontae Smith has a big game.
I like that.
That run game, boom, hit him over the top.
Yes.
I think he has.
Little play action off of that.
Yep.
All right, good stuff. That's going to do it for this edition of the Countdown to Kickoff show.
Oh, my God.
Live from Screwballs. Great to be here for Dallas week. And here's to coming back when we return to Screwballs. Here's to returning undefeated. Yes. At 6-0, right?
Love it.
All right.
Keep it rolling, baby.
And who will go to the game tonight at the Link?
Which game?
All right. Who's going to go from Screwballs to the game? We'll find that out. And great stuff, as we are glad to always be here. It's the Countdown to Kickoff show. On behalf of Rob Ellis, on behalf of the coach, and on behalf of everyone who came out to Screwballs tonight. See you next time, everybody. Woo!